The forest was eerily silent, save for the crunch of leaves beneath Rosalie Cullen's boots. She had always found solace in nature, but today the woods felt different, almost alive, as if they were watching her. She tightened her jacket around her, trying to shake off the unease that had settled in her chest. "Rosalie!" a voice called out, sharp and commanding. She froze, her heart pounding. The voice didn't belong to anyone she knew. It was deep, almost growling, and it sent a shiver down her spine. She turned around, scanning the trees, but no one was there. The voice had come from the shadows, and now the only sound was the rustling of leaves in the wind. Her breath quickened as she took a step back, her instincts screaming at her to run. And then she heard it, the unmistakable sound of footsteps, heavy and fast, coming straight for her. Her eyes widened as a massive white wolf burst through the trees, its piercing blue eyes locked onto her. The wolf was unlike anything she had ever seen, its fur glistening like snow under the moonlight, its presence both terrifying and mesmerizing. Rosalie didn't think. She ran. Her legs carried her as fast as they could, but the wolf was gaining on her. Her heart raced, her lungs burned, and then she tripped. Her foot caught on a rock, and she tumbled to the ground, her head hitting the earth with a sickening thud. The world spun as she tried to push herself up, but her vision blurred. The last thing she saw before everything went black was the wolf's eyes, those captivating, icy blue eyes that seemed to hold 1,000 secrets. When Rosalie woke, she was no longer in the woods. She was in a dimly lit room, the scent of pine and earth filling the air. Her head throbbed, and she winced as she tried to sit up. "Easy," a voice said, low and smooth. She turned her head to see a man sitting in a chair nearby. He was tall, with broad shoulders and dark hair that fell in messy waves. But it was his eyes that caught her attention, those same piercing blue eyes she had seen before she blacked out. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice trembling. "Lucas," he said simply, leaning forward. "And you, Rosalie, are in my territory." Her breath hitched. "Your territory?" He smirked, a dangerous glint in his eyes. "You stumbled into the wrong part of the woods, little human. But now that you're here, you're mine." Rosalie's mind raced. She had heard stories about the supernatural, about werewolves and their possessive nature, but she had always dismissed them as myths. Yet here she was, face to face with a man who claimed to be an alpha, a man who had saved her, but also seemed intent on keeping her. Over the next few days, Rosalie learned more about Lucas and his pack. They were a tight-knit group, fiercely loyal to their alpha. Lucas was both protective and possessive, his moods shifting like the wind. He was kind one moment, demanding the next, and Rosalie found herself drawn to him despite her better judgment. But as the days turned into weeks, Rosalie began to feel the weight of Lucas's expectations. He wanted her to stay, to become part of his world, but she wasn't sure if she was ready to give up her old life, her mom, her friends, the future she had planned. One night, as they stood under the stars, Lucas turned to her, his eyes blazing with intensity. "You belong here, Rosalie, with me. Don't fight it." She looked at him, her heart torn. Could she really leave everything behind for a man, a wolf, who both terrified and enthralled her? Or would she run, risking his wrath and the unknown dangers of the woods? To be continued.